The growth of the industry, of the Sharia-compliant industry, in the last, I would say, 15 years, was based mainly on three pillars. First of all, was the novelty of the model, was a game changer, was some fresh air coming into the financial system. The financial brokerage model without interest rates was something that struck the attention of a lot of people, equity-based, risk-sharing. And of course, in the insurance industry, the mutual model with a Sharia-compliant management of the assets also was a game changer, and this struck the attention of a lot of people. This was the first reason. The second was the enormous abundance of cash. Money was there for a number of reasons we know, above all in the Gulf area, and this allowed a lot of professions, a lot of intermediaries, bankers, lawyers, advisors to carve a niche in this market. And the third reason was the promise to be inclusive, to bring back into the financial system hundreds of millions of people that for whatever reasons were left aside. Those are, in my reading at least, I've been in this industry for a number of years now, the three major reasons. Now, today, none of them are here. Novelty is not there any longer, and there are more and more discussion in the financial arena, in the Islamic financial arena, of about our proposal being diluted into the conventional. Risk sharing is not really working, is not really implemented. The hybrid market, the hybrid solution in the Takaful industry is, to say the least, coming under scrutiny. The viability of the commercial pool and the tabarro, the non-commercial pool, is under questions, and we will have a couple of sessions today and tomorrow addressing this particular issue. So first point is not there any longer. Money. The game is over. There's no money any longer. The Gulf countries all are engulfed in a, I would say, political chaos, and are all running deficit. So in a way, they're becoming normal countries. Taxation system is becoming an option. Dubai introduced a VAT of, I think, 5% a few weeks ago. And there are basic changes in the changes in the system. I was struck by two news last week. The first one is that the Swedish car makers, Volvo, decided that by 2020, which is after tomorrow, they will phase out all the production of all conventional cars. Volvo, which is a not big players, but is a good brand, and they will move to electrical. And the second is that the French government stated that by 2040, all cars running in France will be electrical. This is potentially a game changer for all of us in this industry, because the good days of easy money and the money flowing into the coffer of the GCC countries are over. So the second is not there, and the third one, the promise of being inclusive has not been fulfilled. Islamic finance has over-focused on real estate investment, on the high net worth individual. Yes, microfinance and micro-takafuls are developing, but percentage-wise, they have a very small share. So we will have all in the industry, which is value-based, have to do a lot of thinking in finance and insurance to move from 1.0 to 2.0 and to grow the industry. On the other side, there are two big dark clouds hanging over our head. The first one is a potentially disruptive change, which is the blockchain industry, the blockchain system. It will be impacting conventional, but will be impacting Islamic finance as well, and Islamic insurance, Takaful as well. And as far as I know, in the conventionals, big banks and big intermediaries are taking this challenge very seriously, the blockchain. Not sure, at least I'm not aware, this is happening in the Islamic finance environment. And the second issue, it's a very old one, is the glass wall dividing us, professionals in finance and insurance, dividing us from the halal industry. Halal industry is growing very fast and very successfully. When I say halal industry, I mean food, which of course represent about 15 to 18% of the total world transactions. But I also thinking about fashion. Modest fashion, halal fashion, is growing fast. You see Milan, New York, London are nowadays running fashion shows on halal fashion. And in Turin last week, we had a major halal fashion event, 3 days, where people actually from all parts of the world convene to showcase their products. I'm talking about halal travel. Halal travel is booming across the world, in Western countries and in non-Western countries. And talking about also, let me share these things, about the halal cosmetics. Comes September 21 and 22, at the Savoy here in London, we will have the first cosmetic halal event in the world. So why I'm mentioning all these four sectors is that when you're talking about, when you attend those events, you don't see the same people attending the Islamic finance or Takaful events. And there are no products, neither generally speaking, with very few exceptions, there are no products in Islamic finance and in Takaful that are designed to be implemented in the halal industry. So this is a major challenge that we should address. So to cut the long story short, before asking Adam to come to the floor to share his thoughts, where lies the future? I think that the future is very, very well encapsulated in the title of the IFSB World Bank book that some of us contributed, some of us in this room contributed, that will be published, I think, by September. And the title is realizing the value proposition of the Takaful industry for a stable, inclusive financial system. And this is where I think the real challenge lies. Now, without further ado, thank you for listening. And again, welcome to this International Takaful Summit 2017. And please ask Adam Hassan to come to the floor and share his thoughts. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. All praise is rightfully due to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, and peace be upon our Prophet Muhammad, his messenger and servant, and upon his household, companions, and those who follow him until the day of resurrection. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to thank the organizers of this gathering, as well as the chairman of this session, who reserved this chance to me to deliver my speech on behalf of the International Federation of Takaful and Islamic Insurance Companies. As you know, emerging insurance markets are those markets of Southeast Asia, Latin America, and the Caribbean, Central and Eastern Europe, Africa and the Middle East, and Turkey. These emerging insurance markets are expected to be the main drivers of premium growth in both life and non-life sectors during the next decades. The growth, for example, in 1 year, exceeded $20 billion, as from $828 billion in 2014 to $849 billion in 2015. We are also expecting to see a continuous and significant premium growth due to the extensive use of the new digital innovations and mobile applications, together with the tremendous rise of private health insurance, particularly in China and Southeast Asia. Takaful investors and operators have a good chance to acquire a reasonable share of this growth because their products are more attractive for an ordinary client. These products guarantee and protect the client against insurable perils and render their services in the same levels, if not better, than their counterparts in the conventional insurance markets. In addition to their unique privilege of surplus distribution, and therefore, Takaful and re-Takaful companies have the capability and leverage to survive in any community and to effectively compete and flourish. Unfortunately, since the establishment of the fairest Takaful insurance company in the world, the Islamic Insurance Company of Sudan, preference of the establishment of Takaful and re-Takaful companies is always given to the countries and areas of Muslim communities. However, Takaful should not be exclusively designed or rendered to any specific community or religious group, because it is also feasible and may be more economical for the investors to plan and direct their investments and efforts and extend their services worldwide, and in particular to the emerging and growing markets. One of the problems facing Takaful and re-Takaful companies is that most investors are not very well aware of the benefits and feasibility of investing in Takaful, as they generally think that as far as they are obliged to distribute the annual surplus among their policyholders, there will not be any chance for other profits to the shareholders. In fact, there are many methods of relationships between policyholders and shareholders which prove by practice to be very attractive to many investors, and in many cases, the profits of investing in Takaful exceeded other stock market options. In some cases, the percentage of the annual profits from a Takaful company exceeded 50% of the capital invested. The legal and regulatory requirement is another issue, although it is not impossible to overcome, but it is a time-consuming obstacle. The nature and rules of Takaful are not well known to many regulators, and therefore investors spend a lot of time in discussions and negotiations to convince the respective regulatory authorities in these conventional markets to allow the establishment of these Takaful companies, and in many cases, they fail. Takaful operators and professionals should exert more efforts to extend Takaful awareness, which is still far behind expectations. And without such extensive awareness efforts, potential investors will not effectively enter this field, and our potential clients themselves will not properly evaluate the additional benefits and merits of dealing with a Takaful company instead of a conventional one. This gathering, being held in this important insurance center, the London market, will serve and achieve many important goals, particularly the issue of extending awareness, and for a similar target, the International Federation of Takaful and Islamic Insurance Companies will arrange an important gathering in Khartoum, Sudan, on the 10th of September 2017, in which many papers will be delivered by distinguished Takaful professionals and executives, and we hereby cordially invite all the participants here to attend our gathering. The Secretary General of the Federation will send official invitations to all the attendants here through their emails. Once again, I would like to thank the organizers of this gathering and also to you for your patience. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.